Hello again. One of the ways in which immigration to this country is maintained at an absurdly high level by the government is by means of what is officially called the List of Skilled Worker Visa Shortage Occupations. In the description to this video, I give a link to the government's own website, which updated this particular section of their website on May the 15th. Viewers might be surprised to see the number of fields in which there are seemingly critical shortages of qualified workers in this country. Did you know that Britain is running out of artists? That we do not have enough archaeologists and are therefore obliged to recruit them from Africa? Perhaps you would be taken aback to hear that architects are in short supply here, as are geologists, nuclear physicists, dancers, musicians, welders, economists, website designers, vets, and care workers. According to this government, there are simply not enough people in the country able to do such jobs, and so we must look elsewhere for our professionals, chiefly Africa. Two things strike one immediately about this business. The first is that we have in the past surely been able to educate enough school leavers to be architects and economists. When did we start having to turn to foreign countries to persuade their citizens to come and take these posts? This surely cannot be anything to do with our ageing population, the usual excuse for this caper. There is ferocious competition for those wishing to train as vets in Britain, and simply not enough places for them all to be offered a university um, place. Surely, with so many young people wishing to become vets, we could simply train more rather than just advertising for foreigners to come and take the jobs. The second thing which occurs to anybody looking at this list is, of course, that care workers are not really skilled positions at all. And there are plenty of people in this country who could do this work, pretending that people working in care homes are skilled workers and that there's a critically short supply of them is nonsense. To anybody like me, with only the haziest knowledge of economics, this all looks a bit weird. We managed to get by with enough actuaries and geologists 20 years ago without having to recruit them from abroad. So, what has changed now? I'm bound to say that I don't think that anything has happened in recent years to produce a crisis over the number of artists and musicians in Britain. I bet we have as many now as we always did. Do any of you think that there is actually a shortage of artists in Britain? That there are so few people wanting to paint and draw that we have to ask people from abroad to come here and paint watercolours? Does anybody think it likely? And yet we see artists on the list of skilled shortages. From all that I'm able to make out from scanning the various lists of skilled worker visa shortage occupations, there are few jobs in this country in which there are no shortages which need foreigners to step into them. It is my considered opinion that this whole system, which was originally touted as a way of reducing immigration by only giving visas to those who could do jobs for which British applicants are not available, is one gigantic swindle. The real aim appears to be to increase immigration by telling the world that we are open to applications from anybody for any job. There is another aspect to this which few people other than foreigners angling to come and live in this country are likely to be aware of. This is that you do not actually have to be qualified in order to get one of these skilled worker visas. In some parts of the world, Africa and Asia say, it is enough if you take a short course lasting 6 months and then accept a lower wage because you'll be trained on the job. In other words, rather than just accepting people who are actually archaeologists, Britain will allow those to come here and get jobs in this field after the most cursory course of study because they think they'll work more cheaply than qualified British people. There are many websites, especially in Africa, which explain to prospective immigrants step by step exactly how to go about this process. In the description to this video, I give a link to a YouTube channel in Kenya where a discussion takes place about the best method of gaming the system and being able to get a visa for one of these positions, which are said to be no British people qualified enough to do these jobs. The entire enterprise, both the British system and those taking advantage of it in Africa, is one great confidence trick, the purpose of which is to allow as many Africans to enter this country and live here permanently as can possibly be managed. I say this because I simply cannot see any other explanation. As I say, I'm no economist, so I really don't know the rationale behind the scheme, but I'm sure I'm right about the underlying purpose. I've said before on this channel that I've lived in a country which operated a system of this kind, but one which was perfectly serious about what was happening. Trust me, things are run very differently if the genuine purpose is to restrict immigration and only allow those with specialist skills to have jobs. I should know. I've been hoofed out of the country when my work permit expired because I wasn't a specialist worker anymore. Britain could do this if there was any appetite for a serious control of the situation, but there really is none. This is a scam, pure and simple, and the British government is complicit in it.